G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, we're on Dry Arabia to watch two of the world's best players face off, and we've already got ourselves a little bit of a problem. A barracks coming in early. Let's introduce them for you. Spawning in the west of the map in the color blue, currently rated inside the top 15. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Numidan. And towards the east side of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the Chinese, it is the kid Voldemar. Currently ranked, I think, just outside the top 20. So it's going to be a close game today, that is for sure. Two of the best players in the world, definitely towards that top end of the ladder. How are you folks doing? You probably noticed from my voice, I've just woken up. That's right. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and well, you can hear there's a little bit of a crackle. So hopefully we'll work through this video and it'll eventually go. I've got a drink to accompany me. I'm sure you can imagine what it might be, but we've got ourselves a very early spearman. Interestingly, not going any other way because you've got other options that you can go for here. However, the spearman makes the most sense, and the reason why is if you look at the Dark Age, the primary focus here is just going to be sieging down buildings. Your spears, your samurai are going to be able to do the exact same thing over here, and that's harass vills. The only thing that I'm going to say right now is Voldemar needs to be very careful. I don't know whether he's got no clue, and the most common thing that we see people do at this point is they will pull their vills in right as they hit 200 gold. But you've got to be very careful about doing that with the Chinese, because the Chinese need gold to purchase, or to buy. To build? Let's go with build. Let's go with train. I got a little bit of a Civ brain today. They need the gold to be able to afford going in for their Imperial official. And we can see that Voldemar has not started with that. And once you've got the Imperial official, you're fine, because the gold will continue rolling through taxes. But you actually have to get to that point in the first place. So spears are going to come in, and whether or not he takes the vills off is going to be instrumental here. We'll keep an eye out on it. The spear's about to come in. There they go right now on the way through. He should have enough gold. He's got enough gold to age up right now. So ideally what we'd like to do is we'd like to see him stick it out here a little bit longer. Maybe bring out a couple more vills, just because at the moment there's only the one spear. But the spear number will very, very quickly climb. There's the second one now that's coming through. And with every subsequent spear, and a villager as well, with every subsequent spear, it makes it even harder to get out here. And if we take a look at the gold, he's got some golds down towards this side of the map. It's very far away, though. And if you wanted to make, move 3 vills out here just to go and grab some gold just so you can afford an Imperial official, it's difficult to justify, especially when you've got golds much closer to home. Like, you could come out here even right now and try and do that. You're probably going to lose a vill, though. It's a bit dangerous. You might need to send more than one, or rather more than 3. You might have to send maybe 5 or 6. All right, well, Numidan about to get this outpost up. Let's take a look back home and see what his plan is. So he's only just moving up to gold now. So opening up with 4 spears early on, basically playing a Mongol style here. Excuse me, apologies. I'm just trying to clear my voice here. But we're all good. We're okay. 322 on the age up for Voldemar. Nice little timing here, but just keep in mind he doesn't have the gold to get the Imperial official out. So he's kind of stuck here. He's got a number of options as to how he could play this. He could look to drop down a market. That could be an option for him. I would say avoid that. I think you want to try and play around the resources that you've got access to an extent, the same way the French used to. So what we saw the French doing was dropping down an archery range, so throwing down an archery range here, and then a stable as well. And then what you could do then is you can kill the spears with the archers, and then the stable you can make scouts from. And then eventually the scouts will be able to take down the outpost so you can recover your gold. And then once you've recovered your gold, you can then move into professional scouts. That would be the idea. However, Numidan's got some space here, and there's a good chance that he gets up, he researches professional scouts before you can even do all those things. Because realistically, from the perspective of Voldemar, you don't have... Oh my lord, this is actually terrible. Okay, he is going to go for the market. That probably makes the most sense. Honestly here, just going for the market and then just selling just a little bit of food or a little bit of wood, and then getting yourself the Imperial official, and then letting the Imperial official do the rest. But we've got another vill that is... it's this... Sorry, I got a bit excited. For some reason, I thought that this was Voldemar's vill that was out here, but it's not. It's Numidan's vill. It was going to get caught for a little bit, but he's absolutely fine. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have the Kura storehouse that is slowly coming up around the town center. 4 vills on this one so far, and well, we've got a little bit of a break in the action at the moment. He's just... I wonder what the decision was about canceling for this. There's a part of me that thinks, is he trying to bait his opponent into a 2TC? Does he know that the 2TC is a bad move? and intentionally cancels that outpost, because this was a really good outpost. This is like the golden outpost, you know, denying gold, denying stone as well. But he goes against that. He says, well, no, I don't want to do that. This outpost still achieves the same thing that this one does, yet he intentionally left this one out. Is it bait? That's my question. Is it bait? I feel like there's a part of it that could have been, because, you know, here I am saying, oh, well, we should play around the resources we've got access to. It's like, well, we got access to stone. Let's make a second town center. That's a good idea. We can do that. It's like, that's bait. Don't do it. Don't do it. He wants you to do that. So I think it's actually quite a smart move by Voldemar if he stays one base here, because going one base into castle, the biggest issue that you're going to have is the lack of gold. Now, he could always just move out. If he wants to go one base into castle, that's where you definitely just look to move out 4 or 5 vills onto gold out here, and then get yourself up to the next age. I think that would be a smart move, especially because the Imperial Academy is towards the front of the base, so you don't actually have access to this gold with the Imperial Academy. You're not really losing anything. Of course, you do lose those subtle taxes. Speaking of taxes, we are now out. We're now collecting. Professional Scouts is coming through. He's done a lot of market transferring early on, or is that the right word? Market purchasing? Market manipulation. Let's just go with that. Market manipulation. He's done quite a bit of market manipulation early on. Both going to be opening with the Scout. Obviously, the Professional Scouts are through for Voldemar, and we will probably see them through very soon right here for Numidan. The stable is coming up in the back of the base, and he's about to have the resources for it. There we go. So now coming through, I think he's just looking to delay the Professional Scouts of his opponent. That's probably what it's going to be. Let's have a look and see what the lay of the land looks like with regard to the deer. A little bit of a back deer. And then we've got a side deer. So Voldemar going to be able to steal from the side deer. We've got the double deer down towards the south side of Voldemar's base. He's going to be pulling that back. And you can see the amount of scouts that he's already got. So I think realistically, this is probably the correct approach compared to the approach I was talking about, just because you're probably going to be quite delayed. If we think about like the French versus the Chinese, I mean, the French do age up a little bit later, but the French also just start off with a stable, right? Whereas you compare that to the Chinese and you're going to build your own stable. So that's going to delay you a little bit. And then you still got to get Professional Scouts. And speaking of Professional Scouts, you can see out now, Numidan does spot out just how many units are already here for Voldemar. He is absolutely booming. He's completely ignored the other side of his base. And, I mean, you got to give it to the kid. You got to give credit where credit is due. This is an impressive way to play. The fact is just ignored the outpost completely, yet still been able to keep everything operational. Double horsemen now coming out as well. Going to be looking to try and stem the flow of deer out of the Chinese base, or into the Chinese base, rather. And let's check in now with Voldemar, as he does look to indeed move out towards this position, starting to take the gold. Always dangerous. So we see the 5 bills coming out. He's going to drop Barbican on this gold as well. Wow. So this is a man committed right here. He 100% wants to keep this gold and just wants to completely ignore towards the backside of his base. And I think this is a smart move in the long run when you think about it, right? Like, he's already taking the gold in the center of the map. He's putting his Barbican on it, and the Barbican is often one of those landmarks that you could just kind of put in the back of the base, like, because normally we put the Barbican in the back of the base and it just kind of sits there, especially if it's on gold or if it's on stone or something that we determine is important. We'll throw the Barbican there and it's just kind of like a safety net. Whereas here, it's not just a safety net. This is now acting as a keep. Once we get our sprinkled in placement through here, this is going to be a real sticking point for anyone who tries to push in here, any units that try and push in here. Once it gets Imperial, there's the prospect of a cannon in placement. That creates a real problem once we get to the late game. On top of that, it's a wood landmark, or a landmark that requires wood to repair. So even if it gets sieged by trebs or something like that, you're going to be forcing the enemy to go into like 3-4 trebs, maybe not 3-4 trebs, but at least 3 trebs to actually get it down, because 2 trebs is easy to deal with. And he's going to be able to sit here on this gold. That's 8k, and then that leaves 8k in the back of his base. So there's definitely a component of this, which is, you know, we could see a silver lining in this issue. I'll say that much. If I had to be honest, though, I'd still probably just prefer my my gold in the base. I'll say that much right now. All right, nice little chase coming through, but not going to be able to work the magic here. Spears together with the archers out for Voldemar. He could look to move into Juku Nu at this early stage, but you do need to be cautious about it, just because of the way the horsemen get that bonus damage. Very powerful, playing up against the Japanese, so you do need to respect that a little bit more. They get bonus damage on top of everything else that they've got. They've got their +1, their +2 available to them here in the Feudal Age. On top of that, they've also got access to the Beneman, which is going to buff them up even further. So, no way. Jeez, that's quick, isn't it? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wasn't expecting the age up this early. This is an early age up. A lot of deer underneath. I really wish we had a venison count. I really wish we knew how much deer was actually here. Because it looks like these are the final deer that are coming through. I'd love to see deer control. How many deer did you keep on your back? How would you even do that, right? Because there were deer out here that got caught, and you don't want to count those, right? So I think it needs to be very specific. How many deer did you successfully get dropped off at the set automatic drop-off target? How many of them successfully got dropped off? That should be the count number. Age up, about to come through. There it is. Voldemar now in the castle age at 10:42. He's been delayed like maybe 40 seconds here. Numidan has really not made a dent in this Chinese strategy. Floating gate coming up on the other side of the map. That's going to give him access to religious units to look to pick up these relics, get the game kick-started. Interestingly, no production buildings next to this, so we don't know exactly where the plan is or what the plan is or where he looks to go. So we'll keep an eye on that. Still got 8 Vils out here. Going to garrison a couple of them. Look to try and provide a little bit more cover fire as the Yumi Ashigaru run back away from the main base. Taking a little bit of fire as they do, and Voldemar managing to come out on top for sure. Just look at the amount of units that are here. Finally, we see some Lancers coming out as well. This is looking very good for the kid right now. We'll check back in over on that north side as Numidan slowly makes his way towards that castle age. I say slowly, there's 14 Vils. He's racing towards that castle age. Outpost still up. 4 units inside the outpost still. It's so painful. Like, there's a part of me that thinks maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe it's not a good idea. Okay, we've got the I was going to say the Ashigaru. Sorry, the Yorishiro. Yorishiro comes back into the stable now. Mounted Samurai going to be the name of the game. And now the attack is really coming to fruition here for Voldemar after he's pushed out all this time. And I love the fact that he's been able to avoid anchoring on this position, because I know I would have anchored so hard. I see an outpost, I want to burn it down. You can't take that away from me. I get so excited when I see those outposts, and I'm just, all right, that's fine. We'll get the outpost. We'll take the outpost down, but obviously Voldemar just ignoring it. He can see it in the back of his base. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a stuff. Imperial spies, he's got the opportunity to use it right now. If he does, is there anything that he sees that we don't, or that he wouldn't really know about? Not really. I mean, all these Vils are going to be relatively safe early on against the Japanese, or as the Japanese. All the food Vils under the TC, all the wood Vils, not that there's many of them, over on the wood line, and all the gold Vils over on the gold. Everything is where you would expect it to be. So for Voldemar, utilizing that Imperial spy's ability right now doesn't really make a lot of sense. But the Cav now moves towards the top side. Spring Garden placement is through. Shinto Shrine coming up. Vils, he's already taken out a few, but fortunately manages to escape without any harm done. Looks to try and hunt down another one. He could look for a Wallalol here, but the chase continues. Voldemar keeping enemy units in their base rather than keeping those enemy units in his face. And that's definitely a wise choice. How are we doing on relics? We got, it's a 2 versus 1 at the moment. Voldemar holding on to 2. He could look to move into the Yuan dynasty here. It's always scary. I'm not going to say scary. It's always questionable to move into the Yuan dynasty before you actually need to. But I think the Chinese meta has definitely changed quite a bit. It's not so dependent, so reliant on 2 TC. Like, when was the last time you saw a Chinese player go for a 2nd TC? Realistically, it was a while ago, and don't get me wrong, like now is the perfect time to add a 2nd TC. Not right this second, but you know, within the next 3-4 minutes is absolutely fine to add in that 2nd TC here, because you've stabilized, right? Like, once you've picked up relics, once you've stabilized in the castle age, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't, other than the fact that you're playing against the Japanese and they're incredibly powerful. So that is you know, it's a risk that you got to try and that you can take. Whether or not it's worthwhile though is a different matter. But down towards the south side, the units continue making their way down. Spear number looking good. He's got 9 spears out at the moment. Crossbows also starting to join the field now. Mounted Samurai have been a problem so far in this game, but he will look to shut this down. Meanwhile, towards the back of the base, still got 4 spearmen over here that are just big and chilling. Outpost. I mean, at this point, you can pretty much just delete this outpost and walk home, and I feel like you've already done your job, right? You delayed professional scouts. That was pretty much it. And at this point, you know, your enemy's out on the map. They've got 10 Vils out here. They're taking out the central gold. It's not really achieving much. Voldemar with a significant lead already on score, 700 at this point in the game. Big eco lead. big military lead. Voldemar the Kid looking very strong. Now moving in towards the gold. We're right on board with Numidan as he looks to defend towards the top side of the base. Together we also see the Forge towards that top side, down towards the south. A little bit of a pick-off coming in. Mounted Samurai going to get taken out. More and more Lancers running around the base. And he's doing a really good job, the Kid, right now. He is forcing Numidan into a tough spot. Now entering into the back line as well. Keep in mind towards the north side. We're still looking for relics, trying to find a way in. Crossbows, archers. You can see just how much damage they're able to do to the Mounted Samurai. That second shot, once it comes through from the crossbow, about to annihilate that last Mounted Samurai. But he does manage to make it out with only minimal losses here. Springald in placement obviously doing some work, but Numidan does manage to stay alive. He's lost 3 vills so far, all 3 sacred sites taken. The Kid is in absolute prime position here. He is up, he's up in the high chair. He is having a look around. He says, you know what, I'm going to throw this food on the floor. I'm going to say, the Kid, I didn't know you were my son. I tell you what, my youngest right now, oh man, you take your eyes off him for 2 seconds at the dinner table, the whole plate is gone. We got one of those sticky plates. I tell you what, I'm not an engineer. Oh, you know what? We'll talk about the engineering problem later because we got a Mounted Samurai problem at the moment. Numbers are really starting to build, and this is something that you've got to be so careful of because once the numbers are built, once you reach that critical mass, things go downhill very quickly. And he's got all these crossbows. What's he going to be able to do with them? Because all the units move forward, he's just able to stick like glue. He is just able to stick like glue. And I mean, realistically, at this point, all he needs to do is fight. I think this is fine. The Mounted Samurai, incredibly strong here in this position. The archers, as long as he's picking off the spears, and if we take a look at Numidan's perspective, he sees everything. He's actually focusing down the crossbows here instead of going after the spears. He's going to lose out quite badly. A lot more spears in the jungle than what we actually realized. And I guess that's the power of the stealth forest, isn't it? Another Mounted Samurai going to go down. Yeah, so I think as a parent, and I'm sure there's a lot of other folks out there that have got kids, or even those that don't have kids, and they probably recognize this as an issue. So I'm gonna give you a free product idea. I already thought it up. It's gonna work perfectly. Okay, check this out. The problem is, babies throw their food on the floor. How do you get them to stop doing that? Well, no, you can't hit them. Where did that idea come from? Don't you dare say that. I don't even know. I don't even hit my children. It just doesn't work. What's the point? I got hit as a kid. I remember. Oh man, I give my mum such shit for that. But then you got to be like, you got to understand as well, right? Like that was what they did at the time. You know, it was the fashion at the time. Like my granddad, he wore an onion on his belt, and that, you know, that's that's a Simpsons reference. No, so basically, like kids just throwing their plates on the floor when they're like it's about like between 12 and 18 months that they seem to really love doing it. Anyway, so my idea, because they've got like these sticky plates that you put down and they kind of stick to the surfaces, and you get like an adhesive that goes on it. But you know, little kids are smart, man. They worked it out. Anyway, there needs to be like some sort of like not cork and screw, I don't know, like a screw-in mechanism on the plate. So like imagine, the way I think about it is like if you've got a vice. Oh, nice little quick wall attempt coming through from Voldemar. There's a little bit of a gap. Vil goes down. He spots the first one, second one. He just is walking over the top of them. Could be 3 that go down here. Indeed it is. So he manages to get a couple back. Vil count is still looking very good for Voldemar at this point. He's up 14. But yeah, that's the product idea. Basically, you have like a base mount thing that just like screws on to the I'm just giving you free ideas. This could be $1 million idea. I'm not an engineer, but I know a good product when I see it. Anyway, so you got like the base mount, which has got like a corkscrew thing. I don't know if corkscrew is the right word. I'm thinking of like Laguna Seca when I say corkscrew, but it's got like a screw-in component. It's just a nice little plastic screw-in thing, and then the plate's got a little screw-in thing as well. And there you go, that's it. And little latch at the bottom, and the kid's just like trying to pull it off, and he can't pull it off because it's literally screwed in. That's what I'm talking about. All right, give me feedback on my idea. Shark Tank me up. Go on, Shark Tank it up. Okay, probably not a good idea to be chasing down these archers with our spearmen. We've got to be really careful about doing that because if our spearman number starts to drop, it's going to create a big threat issue from the Mounted Samurai. So we want to do our best to make sure that our units aren't just kind of... these are archers, so these are fine. We can get rid of... Oh my gosh, Voldemar. You're a man who likes to live on the edge, I see. Oh, nest of bees! Big damage, big raids. Spearmen together with the mounted samurai into the back line. He's going to have to do a bit of evacuation here. Still got this damn outpost in the back of the base. Bring those nest of bees back. Oh, my lord, nest of bees. Voldemar has just been torn apart. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. The last 60 seconds of this game have been absolutely terrible for him. And where did it all go wrong? I think it just all went wrong with this raid down here. A couple of units got in on this side. He made his way to the top on the other side. Numidan just absolutely looked incredible. And now we've lost 17 vills. Now the vill count is even. Now our spears are fighting against archers, and this is just never a good fight. It's not a fun fight to have this, and he's just going to get free kills here on all of these spears, and that's just going to make his cav even stronger. Like, look at these numbers here. If you look at that, you're like, okay, 10 spearmen, there's 12 mounted samurai. They're going to absolutely clean house with these. Springwood emplacement. Still working down the siege. Let's check in and see how Numidan is. I can't believe how quickly that turned. Second TC. Now going to be coming up for Numidan. He's obviously recognized, hey, I did quite a bit of eco damage here. Second TC also coming up for Voldemar that's going to get spotted out. How did I not see this second TC? This has been up for a while, actually, now that I think about it. More raids coming in. This is what we were talking about with losing all these spears. You're down to 6 spears now because you got them chasing archers. Oh, Voldemar. I tell you what, the kid, he knows a lot, but he's still got a lot to learn. We'll give him that right now. Crossbows moving over towards this direction. I think maybe completing this wall could have given him a bit of an advantage. I think just walling in general is also good. And it's not like the kid needs to hear that. He knows that walling is good. We've seen him walling. I just don't understand why the gap. Why the gap? What, you're scared of making a hate symbol? Is that what's happening right here? Come on, Voldemar. Get it together, mate. Connect the walls. Connect the walls. Just don't take any inspiration from me, Lord, okay? All right, let's check in over on that west side. I tell you what, jeez Louise, what happened there? You know what? Let's not go there. I tell you, my mum was talking to me about it, and I just said, I'll be honest with you, Mum. I just have to tune out. It just makes me so upset. Like, honestly, oh man, it just, yeah, you hate to see it, don't you? What can you do? All right. Let's continue on. Let's continue on. It's sorry, I didn't want to bring the mood down. Back to the engineering. Everybody back to the corkscrew. What do you call the product? What do you call it? No more throw? No throw? No can throw? Screw the throwers? Maybe that's what you could do. And then, because it's a screw-in mechanism. There you go. I haven't patented the product. It's yours to steal. Go for it. Now, speaking of a steal right now, I'm just going to take a quick sip of this Red Bull. I don't think I've had any Red Bull. You know, this is the trouble sometimes with a caster game, is you crack open a Red Bull right before you start. You say, all right, this is going to be my drink. And then you spend 40 minutes casting a game, and you get to the end, and you haven't had a drink. And then you're sitting with a room temperature Red Bull. It's like, we got to fix this problem. Oh, can I interest you? What are those things called? You know, the things that like wrap around the cans? Yeah, can I interest you in one of those? Okay, you got the message! Oh, look at this. Voldemar got the message loud and clear. He said, you know what? There is a hole in my walls. I will get walls up. He lost 22 vills and said, maybe we should wall. Good call, Voldemar. Good call. All right, Red Bull time. That's good Red Bull. You know, as I said before, you get good batches and bad batches. That's another good batch. I actually just went to Costco. We're a little bit off topic this cast, but I think it's okay. You know, for a 3 a.m. cast that we're at now, it is absolutely okay to be off topic. And have a look at this. Numidan walking in blind, has absolutely no vision on what his enemy is up to or where his army is. Gets caught off guard by a huge Chinese army. Sends a couple cav units towards the backside. It will get spotted out. Voldemar is on the hunt. Attack moving down towards it. Not going to be able to shoot the mounted samurai. There we go. Now focusing the mounted samurai down. Horseman's going to come afterwards. He'll be absolutely fine here. Feels a lot better knowing that things will be okay. One of these vills can just turn around and just one shot. I thought that was it. I thought that was it. I got very excited. There we go. Wonderful. He's got it. Imperial officials down on the granaries. That's interesting. I don't think I've seen that for a while. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. There was a stage where I was like dropping a granary down and I'd just put 2 rings of farms around it and I would not have any other farms around it. Because if you look at the efficiency numbers, it makes sense from an efficiency perspective to go too deep on the farms if, oh, have a look at this, if you're supervising. If you're supervising, because they all drop off at that 1 point, so they're all getting plus 20% on that. So you can take the efficiency loss and then that you can kind of like justify the Imperial official being there. But obviously there's an opportunity cost associated as well with the Imperial official not being somewhere else. So maybe that's a component of our thinking that we didn't consider. But nonetheless, I always enjoyed doing that. Oh man, it's beautiful. Gosh, I tell you what, Chinese, just, they're such a fun civ. They're such a fun civ. I don't know how Voldemar is 2k up on the score. I think this is just one of those things where you can't really look at the score. Speaking of score, let's switch these guys over to income per minute. Let's get a bit of an idea on where these guys are at. We'll call it 1,800, 2,600, 4,300. I think that's roughly where we were. Yeah, 4,300. So 4,300 for Voldemar, compared over to Numidan, who is at... There's no way that's 2,800. I mean, he is on the Takanoshima Gunsmith, so there is a component of that, which is, you know, idle villager time, that sort of thing. So probably not the best time to compare economies. But we will say right now, Voldemar's got a decent economy, and I suspect that Numidan's probably going to have a similarly sized one, though the key things to note here, we do have 4 relics on the side of Voldemar. That is a key component here. Where is he keeping these relics, by the way? Are they somewhere safe? Or am I reading the numbers wrong? No, Voldemar's got the 4 relics. I don't know where Voldemar's... Where? Oh, there. I'm a little bit blind. You'll have to excuse the eyes. I tell you what, things were looking really good for Voldemar in the early stages of this game. When he kind of broke out of the base and he was like pushing towards the enemy base, he took all the relics. That was looking really, really good. But then it all just kind of fell apart. Like this one single raid ruined him. And his attention was in lots of different spots. His nest of bees got caught out of position. More vills moving towards the north. And keep in mind, as he's doing this, you got 2.7k gold on this, 4k on this one, 4k on that one. He's about to run out on this gold, but look what he's doing. He's going to go drop a keep down right here. He can probably combo it for the sacred site. This is actually the primary spot right here. You pick up triple resources. Let's see what he does. Oh, he's just going to age up. That works as well. I don't know why he doesn't. Oh, yeah, I guess this is fine because it's closer towards the middle. So you're being a little bit more proactive. I'll take that. I'll accept that. That's a good explanation. More tickets coming through now for Numidan on the Takanoshima Gunsmith. I just realized 27 minutes into this game, I've been sitting up this whole time. Like, pure focus. That's what you've got right now. You got focus stronger. I'm not sitting back. I'm not doing one hand. I'm in and out. You're witnessing. I am locked in. As I said, I was at Costco yesterday. My wife, she's like, how come you're getting Red Bull? And I'm like, because I need it. She's like, why do you need Red Bull? I thought you were on a diet. I'm like, well, first and foremost, number one, I'm always on a diet. Number two, that one hit personally for a lot of you folks. Number two is it's a drink, but at the same time, how am I going to lock in? I need it to lock in, or at least I think I need it to lock in. So that's the whole key, right? I take one sip of the Red Bull and it's just like the drugs hit my brain and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. It just turns you into a creature. It's just the caffeine. I can't get her out of bed at 2 a.m. just to make me a coffee. I'd love to, but she needs to sleep. Poor thing. Poor thing, she's got to sleep. Not like me. Just built diff. Nah, not really. Gosh, I love my sleep. Numbers starting to really build up here for Voldemar. Both of these guys Imperial Age now. Upgrades starting to come through. We're seeing Elite Samurai of all things. You got to be scared. You see Elite Samurai. Look at the number, by the way, look at the number of crossbows we've got here. 45 crossbows on the field at the moment. A huge amount. A clock tower on the way. We're starting to see crosscut saw, elite crossbowmen on the way. Do we have a university up just yet? We've got to work on our education. We are going Yuan Dynasty. I do like this. The astronomical clock tower right now. It makes so much sense. He's been into quite a bit of siege lately. Mangoes. A little bit out of position. Samurai number is building. I will say that much. How do you deal with the mangoes here? I think you got to use your own nest of bees. The trouble is you've got so many crossbows. He's going to have to micro incredibly well in this fight. Because he needs to really avoid the mangoes at all costs. Okay, we've got the Shogunate Castle that's come through. He's really looking to dive into the base here. And Voldemar senses that there could be a little bit of weakness in the Japanese defense. He's got two Yorishiras in the stables at this point. Oh my god, the nest of bees make a huge connection. Sacred site neutralization message coming up at the perfect time. You love to see it. Wow, those nest of bees made an absolute connection there. I wish we could see the damage second of them going down. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like it could be it. Hold your horses, wait your horses. Mounted Samurai came in from behind. Never mind the Yorishiros. They could actually be on time. And now inside the base, the cleanup crew. Where is it all gone? Where is all this army gone? They're sieging down a house. I don't even know. Bombard now coming out from the Taganashima. All of the crossbows still stand strong. Hand cannons now coming out as well. He's copping a little bit of a villager loss here, I'm going to be honest with you guys, but the numbers still doing decent for Voldemar. Is he pumping behind this? What's the plan? He's dropped down a little bit more production in the back of the base. Meanwhile, Vils need to move on to the Bombard. The Bombard's the only thing keeping him strong, keeping him holding on at this stage of the game. I take it back. He's got the bastion of defense. The Shogunate Castle will lose that Bombard. Quite a lot of tickets that are going to go down here unless somehow, some way. No, he can't. Don't worry. We all built a single farm. That was the priority. And now, some way, Numidan holds on again. For a second time this game, Numidan fights. But it's not looking good for him, I'm going to be honest. 30 minutes into this game, this score is starting to make a little bit more sense. 2.2k up. Enemy's got both of the big golds, or at least eaten one of the big golds. Second big... Oh, yeah, this is not looking good for Numidan. Sorry, Numidan. Sorry, Numidan. Things are not looking good. Voldemar, the kid. He's in a very nice position here. How does Numidan pull himself out of this? I think the most important thing for Numidan here, yes, adding in more farms. It just becomes about production. That's pretty much it. About making sure you're continuously making vills and just getting units out and meeting every unit that your enemy is making. I think samurais together with the hand cannoneers. So moving into just a base of samurai, not samurai only, but just a lot of samurais. Very difficult to deal with in the late game. Now, especially that we've got our upgrades, like palace guards just are not going to cut the mustard. Cut the mustard? They're just not going to cut it when it comes to this. Look at this. Voldemar just walling his enemy in at this stage. University, only just completed now. Samurai, while the samurai in hand-to-hand combat will absolutely destroy the palace guards, they also need to catch the palace guards. And you can see we're having a little bit of trouble here. A samurai's got a base movement speed of 1.12, and the palace guards have got a base movement of 1.58, which is insane when you think about it. They're like 50% faster, and that's primarily because of the Yuan dynasty. Of course, we're now in the Yuan dynasty. It means that all of our units move faster, our vills move faster, our imperial officials move faster. You can see, and that's incredibly important when we've got nice little lumber camps like this one right here. Outpost coming through. Numidan really holding on in this game. But I tell you what, the longer it goes, the worse it's starting to look for him. More upgrades on the way. Oda tactics on the way for Numidan, as well as elite army tactics for Voldemar. They're both thinking about the same thing. But when it comes to a heads up fight, the samurai always going to win because they've also got the Adachi? Yeah, they got the Adachi upgrade. So the +4 against infantry, which just makes it so much easier to cut through. And you can see them, how quickly they're able to cut down the enemy palace guards. A couple of vills in here as well. Okay, all right. So the biggest thing right now for Numidan, I think, is just going on the offensive. If he can get on the offensive here, it can be really difficult all of a sudden for Voldemar. Because if he goes on the offensive, then he has to meet his opponent. Whereas right now, he just runs him around. So I think from the perspective of Numidan, what I'd be looking to do is try... Oh my gosh, have a look at the size of these walls. I'd be trying to find a way through these walls. Trying to find a way into my enemy base. Because once I'm in the base, they have to fight me. They have to fight me. They have to meet me head-to-head in hand-to-hand combat. And the samurai face off against the palace guards. The speed against the power. Health 242 versus health 180. Wait, Oda Tactics about to come through right now. 180 about to change. 180 about to change. 207. So they've still got less health than the Palace Guard, but the one thing is that attack difference. You got 20 attack damage here versus 25. And I still feel like they're probably not at their final form just yet for the Japanese upgrades. Can we have a look at the blacksmith? Is there a blacksmith around? Can I get a blacksmith check? Can I get a blacksmith check? I don't see any blacksmith. Oh, that's why. Sorry. My bad. I got it. It's okay. It's been a while since I played the Japanese. Thank you. Nice wall that's coming up. You know, this is component number one of what we talked about here. Once you start walling up, then you're going to control the narrative a little bit. You're going to be able to say, okay, no, I don't want you to fight. Randy, the key to success right now. It could be huge. It could be instrumental in this defense. Numidan down about 3k score, almost 4k score. Get him, boy. Get him, Randy. Okay, I gotta be careful with my voice here because we've just woken up and I don't want to run out of juice. I want to run out of gas this early in the morning, 34 minutes into the game. And at the moment, Voldemar pushing through. He's got some decent range here as well. Keep in mind, Randy is going to be kept at a distance. Doesn't have the reach here. He might be big, strong, and tough, and he's going to try and fire off. How are we going to do with the bombards? He's going to look to try and focus them down. Vils, nowhere near to repair this, and he wouldn't have even had the time if he tried. Samurai at the front, Samurai at the back, Samurai on the sides, Samurai going whack, whack, whack with all of their Odachis. Look at this. He's actually cutting through. He is 100% cutting through. You got to be careful right now. These numbers are starting to look scary. He's got 6 in the queue. 5 for Voldemar. He's pumping, both of them pumping towards this central location. I don't even know which way it's going to go. It's looking like it might be Voldemar pulling out with the number advantage. Oh, the Vils. The Vils. The Vils. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Vils. That's the key difference here. Voldemar was just too long in the base, doing too much damage. And we've seen both of the key swings in this game coming down to that. And 35 minutes into the game, he's going to tap out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. The kid comes up with a big win in this game. If you want to check him out, then I'm going to leave a link down in the description to where you can watch him live. He is young, he's up and coming, and he's looking to take the crown off the beast. Ladies and gentlemen, the link is in the description, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.